Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Finger. Back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast, and as always, I'm joined by Babby. Paul is gone. We told Paul that this was going to be a long episode because we're back. We took a week off, and whenever we take a week off, the podcast back is usually really long because we have 2 weeks of stuff to go through.
This time seems even more packed, though. So,
Yeah. We have a lot of news. This was a very busy week for news. We got a lot of release dates. We got a lot of cancellations. Not social cancellations, but scheduling cancellations, I guess, which we will, of course, talk about. And we got some discussions. We have to talk about Saul. Saul's over. We will talk about that. I also, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself again. I watched the House of the Dragon premiere, which is the Game of Thrones spinoff. So I will also be talking about that a little bit. And also we need to talk about why we were gone. We were at the Big Steppers tour in Milwaukee. So we will be talking about that. So very packed week. But so let's just jump into it. Well, we always start with gaming, and gaming, we had Gamescom this week. There was some decent stuff on there. Nothing that I was super crazy about, but you know, that's just how it is sometimes. But let's talk about stuff that isn't Gamescom first, because we have 2 weeks of gaming news to get through. And I probably won't be talking a lot about all this stuff that's happening. So first, starting off, this is old at this point, but Multiverses, the Warner Brothers Smash knockoff, is they've started their season 1. And the 2 characters that are coming are Black Adam, of course, because Dwayne Johnson is getting his movie, which is one of the only Warner Brothers movies to not be delayed or canceled, and Stripe from the Gremlins. A beloved character, Stripe. Frankly,
so random.
It's a weird one. I've never seen Gremlins. I intend to.
What?
I know. Well, as a kid, my parents wouldn't let me watch it.
That seems like a demon movie.
It's way too scary, and
The cruise, they'd have to exercise you after now.
I don't know about that. I was just a Weenie Hut Jr. child, so I think they were like, if we let this kid watch Gremlins, then he's gonna have nightmares for 2 weeks, and that's probably a safe move. But I want to watch it now because I've been watching the Red Letter Media, friend of the show, Red Letter Media. They did a review of Gremlins 2, and that made me want to watch the first one and the second one. So I will be doing that sometime.
I've seen the second one.
The second one, it's kind of weird. It's kind of similar to that new Matrix movie, where the studio was going to make a Gremlins sequel, and the director of the original didn't want to do it, but then the studio was like, we're going to do it with or without you. And so he's like, oh, fine. So he made it like really stupid and meta and kind of like self-aware of it being a sequel to Gremlins. So I don't know. It looked good in the clips and how they talked about it. But yeah, I've never seen Gremlins, so I have no nostalgic connection to the new character being added to Multiverses. We did get some news later. I think this was this week, or this last week, I guess now, that going forward, looks like most characters are going to be digging deep into like the Warner Brothers catalog. I don't know if they're going to add like... I don't know what that would even be. Like, I was trying to think of like old stuff that they would have. Like,
Give me the Smiling Friends.
I would love Smiling Friends. I would also love Walter White.
Or
That's
even
been
Mordecai and Rigby.
They should do Mordecai and Rigby. That would be good. I don't know if Walter White is owned by Warner Brothers. I don't know where AMC
I
is.
don't know. A lot of people talk about it, so I feel like they have some kind of connection.
Yeah. Not the theater company. AMC Network. Owner AMC Network. They are by themselves. Interesting. Okay. So that one's probably not going to happen. They're not going to add Walter White. They probably wouldn't add Walter White. Actually, never mind. I was going to say they wouldn't add Walter White, but they added Arya Stark. So no kid is watching no kid should watch Game of Thrones, frankly. There are like people's faces getting bashed in, and it is very gruesome.
Dong.
And dong. But kids can see dong, it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I have no idea what I'd like. I was trying to think of something that they would own, and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to get like the Swamp Thing or like Frankenstein or Dracula, but those are Universal.
I want the live action Scooby-Doo model.
Of Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
I don't
Don't do the cartoon one. Just fully render the 3D one from the live action movies.
From the James Gunn movies?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they have Shaggy and Velma. So I guess they should add Scooby. I don't see why not. So yeah, I want them to add stuff. I hope they add the Flash. Ezra Miller's Flash, that is.
Only if it's Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I don't want the Flash if it's
They deserve it. This is the one thing they're probably good at, to be honest, is fighting other people. So,
Did you see Ezra Miller did an interview like this week? Did you see that?
I heard about it. I don't remember it.
Okay, so he apologized for his actions.
Of course.
I don't know how you can come back from what he did, which I'm pretty sure he was accused of kidnapping and assault. He like held.
They're just method acting. Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. So they did that, and then they were like, "I apologize. I wouldn't apologize, but." They said that they were going to cancel the Flash, and that's my favorite character to play. So I apologize. It was all a big goof. Please let Flash release. We'll see if that works. I'm still hoping for the Mr. Frog thing.
Yeah, I do need a Mr. Frog Jimmy Fallon interview.
Yeah. I want Ezra Miller on Jimmy Fallon, and then I want Ezra Miller to eat Jimmy Fallon live on stage. Uncut, like the Joker thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that live. So, that was a little bit of a tangent about multiverses. See, we have so much to get through, and we're just lingering on one thing.
That's what happens when Paul's in here.
That's right. Paul's our anchor. On September 9th, we are getting a Disney and Marvel games showcase.
My God.
I don't really know what to expect. I think in the like sizzle reel they showed that it's like Infinite Suns or something. That game that's coming out where everybody looks edgy and yellow. I don't know what that game is, but I know that one's going to show up. Whether or not we're going to get any Insomniac Marvel game news, I don't know. I feel like PlayStation would probably save that for their showcase. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get some new Marvel game announcements. Hopefully a new one by Square, because Avengers was so good. Actually, Guardians of the Galaxy, I played that game and it was actually really good. Not
they've been kind of
sarcastic.
hitting recently.
Yeah. Guardians is great. All the Spider-Man games are great. Avengers was a miss, but that's okay. Yeah, I highly recommend everyone check out Guardians of the Galaxy. It's on Game Pass, so you have no excuse. So I will probably report on the Disney and Marvel games showcase if there's something exciting. If there's nothing exciting, I will not bring it up. But I thought I'd, spread the word if people were interested. We got some news about PlayStation VR 2. It's coming out in early 2023. That's it. We got a release window. So, get excited, PlayStation VR fans. I know there's a lot of you because I think PlayStation VR is the best-selling VR headset. So, actually, I don't know. That might have gotten
It
beat
used
by
to be.
Quest 2.
I feel like, I think the Quest 2 probably overtook it now.
Probably. But it actually looks pretty good. It's nice. Looks good. I'm probably not going to get it because why would I? There you go. If you want to play the Horizon VR game, that's really the only reason to get it right now. If they do add like a Spider-Man game, I think that would incentivize more people. But a lot of people like those Horizon games, so.
What if they do a Bloodborne VR?
Before they get a PC port.
Yeah. That would make people happy.
I don't think it would make, well, I mean, it would make people happy, but it would not make the PC crowd happy. Be like, what?
No.
I've been wanting this port for like 5 years and they get another PlayStation exclusive game. That would
Should have bought a PlayStation.
Should have bought a PlayStation 5 before the price went up.
So easy to get.
This is a good segue. Because news flash. PlayStation 5 is increasing price everywhere on the planet.
Yo.
Except the United States.
What?
Riddle me that. I don't know. How much? How much of an increase is it? Hard to say from a dumb American. I have no idea what all these currencies mean. In terms of stuff happening in the North American region,
What about the Turkish lira?
I have no idea.
Since the lira is worth virtually nothing right now.
I have no idea. I'd have to pull up the chart, which I do not intend to do. I also could not tell you how much it is in Venezuelan dollars. It is probably in the millions, if I were to guess.
Yeah, probably.
Probably billions, factually, with this increase. What I can tell from doing some quick Google comparisons, it's pretty much a $50, €50 increase in most countries. In North America, it's going to be a $20 Canadian increase. Don't know how that compares to American dollars. And it's a 1,000 peso increase in Mexico. There you go. Why did they do this?
Money.
Inflation? The economy? Those are the reasons they gave.
It's the lamest excuse.
Yeah, they were like...
multi-billion-dollar company. Oh, the economy is too bad, guys. Sorry, I need to increase our prices. My profit margin's going down.
Yeah, this is coming from Sony, which is not just a video game maker. They make movies and electronics.
Yeah, one of the most profitable businesses on the planet.
Yes, and they're like, "Oh, this is so hard to market everywhere.
It's really hard right now."
Except in the United States, it's actually great. Inflation is fine here in the Americas.
Yeah, we're fine. That's actually true. We don't have it as bad as other countries right now.
In other news, in response, the video game industry did give a response. Both Xbox and Nintendo gave statements saying that they have no intentions to increase their price. Because why would they do that?
Major Sony L.
It really is. And this is coming from a major Sony fan. I would consider myself a PlayStation fan. This is a bad move. I guess you could say that about PlayStation's last 2 years. We'll see how God of War is.
They were really hot for a while, and then now they've kind of started to fall off a little bit.
So 2017 to 2019 when we got God of War, Spider-Man.
If their console exclusives weren't so baller, then it'd be a different story.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We haven't gotten any super compelling exclusives. Everyone really well, I don't know if everyone. That Ratchet and Clank game was fine.
Last one. That was
the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if there's been a big pull for a PlayStation 5 game, unless you count Elden Ring, and I don't.
Did Horizon come out in the PS5?
Yes. The new one did.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it did. I heard
that game is a devout fan base, but I don't know how much an outside reach it had.
I have no idea. I think it is. It's one of those games that's cursed, and I think Donkey brought this up in his review, where the first one came out like a couple months before Breath of the Wild, so the two games were compared, and obviously Breath of the Wild won, and then Horizon 2 came out a couple weeks before Elden Ring. And it's like, you could not have picked like worse times to release the games. I'll give them credit because they actually kept the release. They didn't delay it like Nav. But
love Nav.
I love Nav. I don't. I've never.
I didn't listen to the new Nav song. I already failed my music section.
You really have.
Yeah, there was too much. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's okay. We have a lot to talk about. So yeah, there's your gaming industry drama. Everybody's talking about it. Doesn't affect me. I don't care. We got some news on the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Or kind of news, I guess. So I talked a couple weeks ago that it was being delayed indefinitely. There's been some developmental issues going on with the team. That sounds like they have like a disorder. I don't know if that was probably not the right word. They just had a rocky development. And so the team was Aspire. They are the ones that were making it. They got booted. Sony, Disney, and LucasArts kicked them. They're like, I hate you. You're a bad company and you will never work with us again unless you want to port another game from 2005 to the Nintendo Switch. Then you can probably do that. They switched it to Saber Interactive, which I'm pretty sure are the people who did...
Chose it just because it has Saber in the name.
Yeah, probably. Let me see what Saber did. I know they've done a couple games. They did the Evil Dead game. They did World War Z game. They did A Quiet Place, the game. I didn't know they did that. Snow Runner. Everyone loves Snow Runner. The trucking game on ice. So they're like, screw you, Aspire. We're going to Saber because it's funny that way. So there you go. We did get a little bit of a report as to when they think that the game is going to come out. They said that there's going to be no more delays after this. I don't know about that. But they said that we are probably two years away from completion. So there you go. There's your little update on that. Probably won't have anything for a while unless some more shenanigans happen. We'll see. We'll have to see. We got some news on the Game Awards. Everybody loves the Game Awards. Take place in December every year. It will be on December 8th this year. I don't know if that's early. I don't know when the last one happened. We also got news of a new category that they are going to be adding. Best Adaptation.
Oh.
Yeah. So they've kind of moved away from judging games on this one. They're going to be judging adaptations, whether it be books, movies, TV shows about video games. So Sonic Movie 2 might win this year because I don't think anything else has come out. Unless The Last of Us show comes out. I don't think that's going to come out by then. But
I don't think they showed the date on the trailer, so
they did not. But we'll talk about that later. They also said podcasts and comics are also going to be eligible.
Vote for me.
Oh, that's true. The Boy Time podcast is officially submitting our nomination to the Game Awards. We adapt.
Keely's a good friend of ours.
He's a good friend of the show. He's been on many times giving us a news roundup. It's been pretty fun. I liked seeing him at Gamescom. It was nice to see him. I feel like I haven't seen him in forever, even though it's been 2 months since Summer Games Fest. But speaking of Gamescom, let's talk about what happened at Gamescom. I'm going to be talking about this chronologically as it happened and of stuff that I thought was memorable and or noteworthy. The first thing that I thought was noteworthy is they're making another Dune game. We have, I think it's
Not
Dune.
an RTS.
Not an RTS. I have not tried the RTS. It's made by the guys that made, I don't remember the game. Northgard, I think. And I love Northgard. So I might try out that Dune RTS because it might be good. But this one is called Dune Awakening. It is a open world survival MMO. Don't know what that means. Is it going to be Genshin Impact or is it going to be Dune Rust?
I think, well,
Hard to say.
I don't know. I think it'd be more like Genshin Impact, but it could be Rust.
I have no idea. We got literally nothing. It was like the trailer for the Knights of the Old Republic remake, where it was just like a cinematic, and then it was like Dune Awakening, super awesome. It looked nice. It was a nice little cinematic of Paul, not our Paul, but Paul Atreides, looking at a big old worm. I don't know. Looked like he was gonna kill a worm, which I don't think you can even do in Dune. They've never killed a worm. Although I haven't seen the David Lynch one, so maybe they kill worms in the David Lynch one. I don't know. Next thing of note, we're getting a PlayStation Pro controller, the DualSense Edge. I don't know. What do you want from me? It's like, what are those?
Controller.
Yeah. What are
It's
those?
a SCUF controller.
SCUF controller. That's it. It's like that, where you can customize the, like, how tall you want the sticks, and I have no idea. I've never used a controller like that. But now there's going to be an official one, and it looks the same as a regular PlayStation 5 controller. But now there's a little knob on the back that has calibration profiles, so all of your friends can share one controller and have a bunch of different profiles, because that's how controllers work.
So cute.
So cute. Next thing of note, we got another trailer for that Harry Potter Hogwarts game. Looks pretty neat. I was not a fan of the automated animation that they showed. That is the number one thing that takes me out of games. Please just animate your G-dang people. I know it takes way more time.
And way more money.
But, like, that's the whole reason I stopped playing the Outer Wilds. Is that the game made by Obsidian?
Yes.
Okay. I get Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds confused because they're both space games. But yeah, I stopped playing that game because I'm like, okay, automated animation. It looks like it's Sony Vegas, or not Sony Vegas. The Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. But the charm of Fallout New Vegas is that everybody's a robot.
Everyone is a robot. It's fine when it came out in like 2008. But when it came out in 2019, I'm like, okay, give me some of that real stuff. Especially like after playing God of War, which has some of the best cutscenes. I love them so much. And also Last of Us. Last of Us 2 has some great cutscenes also. Just comparing those to the just robots being like, just moving their mouth up and down. Doesn't quite hit the same. But that's coming out on February 10th of next year. So get your wands ready. Go on Pottermore and see what house you're in.
I'm a Slytherin.
I
don't know what I am. I've never seen a Harry Potter movie.
I've seen all the Harry Potter movies. I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan. Ask me anything about the franchise.
What is it?
I don't know. I think it's a wizard movie. Yeah. Next up, we got Sonic Frontiers, a.k.a. Sonic Breath of the Wild, a.k.a.
Let's go.
Sonic Adventure 3. Even though we already got Sonic Adventure 3, and that one's called Sonic 06.
And it's the best Sonic game.
And it's
Come at me.
It's the best Sonic game. Of what I saw, it looks decent. I don't know. What do you want me to say? It's an open world Sonic game. It's not going to be good. Everyone sit down. Everyone's so excited for this game. Sit down. It's not going to be good. Sonic has never...
Aren't Sonic fans used to disappointment?
Yeah, but they also are kind of blind. Where they're like...
Oh, okay.
Where, there's those there's Sonic Mania, which was good, and then there was Sonic Forces, which was really bad. And I think Sonic fans actually prefer Forces to Mania, and that's why I will never ever trust a Sonic fan's opinion. So there you go. Sorry if we have any Sonic fans in the audience. I just spat on your grave. We got a new Quantic Dream game. I guess they're making a Star Wars game and something else. It's called Under the Waves. Everyone in the comments was saying Subnautica ripoff. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yo, it's underwater. That's a ripoff.
Yeah, BioShock is also a Subnautica ripoff.
Yeah. Subnautica actually stole the idea from BioShock.
Oh, so you're saying that Subnautica is a BioShock ripoff?
Yes.
I could see that.
Because they're both underwater.
That is true. Yeah, we know nothing about it. It was like that Star Wars one that they did where it was like a really nice cinematic, and then it was like Star Wars game. And this one's like, ooh, pretty underwater stuff. That looks really nice. New game. Subnautica 3. So, I don't know. It looked nice, but I don't have anything to say about a cinematic. You got to give me something to work with here, game company. Speaking of giving me something, Goat Simulator 3.
Cool.
It looks so random.
And quirky.
It looks very quirky. I can't decide whether this game is going to be ironically good or so cringy that it is going to be really unplayable. Because the trailer looked like it was stuck in like 2013, where everyone. I mean, yeah.
That's the charm of Goat Simulator.
It is. It is. Which, was great when I was 13. But now as an adult, I don't know how it's going to be. I think it's coming to Game Pass, so I might try it. Who knows? But that is coming out November 17th. So just a couple months away, factually. It's pretty cool. Speaking of Subnautica, we got some news about the Subnautica boys, what they're doing next. They're making a game called Moonbreaker. And it's an open world space survival game. Just kidding, you idiot. It's a turn-based sci-fi game. Looks like it's going to be similar to XCOM. I think the dev said it was going to be XCOM meets Hearthstone, which is not a good sign.
That's how you get me to not play a game.
Yeah, so, I mean, it actually looked interesting. If it comes to Game Pass, I might try it. But like you have like your own army of miniatures and you paint them. You have to paint them like Warhammer figures. And it actually looked like a pretty advanced system where they said like all of the miniatures used in the program were used using the actual painting UI that you will be using when you get the game. And it looked pretty good. I was impressed. There was a whole bunch of different like effects that you could have, or you could have it be shiny or matte, or I don't know. I don't know anything about paint, so excuse me. But that's coming out September 22nd, so less than a month away. That's that's how you should do it, in my opinion. You give this huge gameplay trailer and you break down all this stuff, and you're like, you can play it in 3 weeks. It's like, okay, nice. That's how you do it. Don't have me hyped up for like 5 years for Elder Scrolls 5 or whatever. No, that's Skyrim is Elder Scrolls 5. Elder Scrolls 7. Speaking of awesome games that are timely and epic, Killer Clowns from Outer Space game coming in early 2023. Do you know Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't know if that was obscure enough to where you wouldn't know that.
Obscure enough or enough people know about it because of how obscure it is?
It is very obscure. I was like, I saw it and I'm like, okay. Evil Dead is even stretching it. Like Evil Dead is a B movie. Granted, it's probably the most popular B movie, but it's still a B movie. Killer Clowns of Outer Space is probably way less popular than Evil Dead is. And it's getting its own game coming out on 2023, early 2023. I was looking up what horror movies had games coming out, and I forgot that they're making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, which I feel like anybody who plays that should probably go get therapy and should not be allowed near schools. If it is an accurate
Near Ace
representation,
Hardware.
if it is a accurate representation of the film, because that first movie is very disturbing. Gotham Knights, the most anticipated non-Batman game, it's coming out on October 21st. We're just 2 months away, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to play as Red Hood and shoot people. My favorite aspect of all my favorite Batman games is when Batman pulls out a gun and kills everybody.
Kills people.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you want me to say about this game? It's fine. I don't know if it's set in the Arkham universe. They did a trailer where they had Harley Quinn in it, and it's not the same voice actor who voiced Harley Quinn in the Arkham games, which is, I don't like that. So there you go. Coming out in a couple months. We got some news about Hideo Kojima's new project. Are you hyped?
Oh my god.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's a podcast called Brain Structure. Coming to Spotify in September 8th.
I do not want to hear him talk.
Well, don't worry. You won't have to worry about that because the podcast is coming out in Japanese, where Hideo Kojima will be speaking his native tongue, but there's going to be a dubbed version. Don't ask me how you can do a dub of a podcast, but they're going to do it, and it's going to be put out in English. So all of us filthy Americans who don't know Japanese will finally be able to get into Hideo Kojima's mind and really try to understand the man. Frankly,
I don't want to. That's part of the mystery.
frankly, a fate worse than death. This isn't super exciting, but Dwarf Romantic, which is a great game. I highly recommend everybody get it. It's coming to Switch September 29th. It's kind of like Civ if you take out all of the things that make Civ stressful and fun. Dwarf Romantic is the game I play like one round in, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done for a week. Because it's you just place tiles and try to like get a high score. But it's very relaxing, so it's a perfect Switch game. So I thought I'd bring it up. And the big old reveal, the thing that got leaked a week before Gamescom, and then everyone had to scramble to pretend like they didn't know that this was a thing. Dead Island 2. Remember Dead Island?
Yeah.
I think you're the only person. I tried playing Dead Island 1 a couple years ago, and after playing Dying Light, I was like, this is way worse Dying Light. Hate to say it.
That's true.
Hate to say it. But we got it. It's coming. It's coming. February 23rd. A perfect winter game, I would say.
10 years after the trailer dropped for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not a super long wait. It's what, 7 months?
Yeah, but they announced it 10 years ago.
Dead Island 2?
Yep.
Oh.
I remember watching the trailer 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, I didn't know that. Well, we finally got the second trailer, I guess, for it. The trailer looked fine. It looked really gory, so you know I really like it, because I'm evil. So there you go. Again, it's just a cinematic. What do you want me to say about it? It's coming out in a couple months and you don't have any gameplay for us? Shaking my head. Sus. Before we transition into movies and TV shows, I thought I'd do Boy of the Week, a segment that is not regular, but sometimes I like to do it because I watch a lot of YouTube and I feel like I have to justify that somehow. So we actually have two boys of the week. Neither of them are boys, which is ironic and funny. The first one is Kaz Rowe. I don't know if anyone... she's relatively small. I think she has a couple 100,000 subscribers. but she talks a lot about queer history. So she talked about like Bram Stoker secretly being a closeted gay man. He was a friend of Oscar Wilde, if you know who Oscar Wilde is, the Lucy Dacus lookalike himself, according to me and probably no one else. I don't know why.
Only you.
Only me. But yeah, she just talks a lot about queer history, which I think is interesting because that's not something that is brought up ever in at least in school. I've never heard it, and I'm a history major. I'm finding it very intriguing. So that's fine. The other one makes me kind of sad, and her name is Illuminati. I feel like people have probably heard of her.
I know who she is.
Yeah, she's in the commentary community, kind of, but she does more, like more commentary, not on like YouTube or social media stuff. It's more like corporations or cults or the guy fun stuff, sexual assault. It's really awesome. No, don't clip that. That was not what I meant. Her stuff is really awesome. That's what I meant to say. Very, very good. I can't watch a lot of her stuff in a row. Otherwise, I think I would be even more depressed than I already am. So
You just don't have the strength yet.
I do not have the strength. But there you go. There's some YouTube channel recommendations. Sometimes I like to throw them out there. So there you go. I felt like I did my civic duty, and we can finally move on to what everyone cares about, which is movie news. Actually, I'm going to cut in HBO Max debacles or Warner Brothers debacles. Because, yeah, it isn't just HBO Max anymore. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. For those who don't know, Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, and then they announced that they're going to be making a new streaming service, merging Discovery Plus and HBO Max. And then they went on to cancel like every single project that was coming out to HBO Max, excluding their big stuff. They aren't going to cancel Game of Thrones or Succession or Barry or the Gay Pirate Show. But they'll cancel Close Enough. And was Infinity Train ongoing? Was that still going on?
I'm guessing so, but maybe not.
Okay. Well, doesn't really matter because it's gone. So yeah, so that happened, and now they've completely delayed their year. This year, almost everything coming out this year has been delayed. There are 2 movies that made it out of the chopping block that Warner Brothers straight up said, we can only afford to release 2 movies this year. And you can bet your ass it's not Batgirl.
I'm praying on their absolute downfall.
I know. Do you know what 2 movies they are? I already said one.
I don't remember what they are.
Black Adam. I think The Rock is the one that's really pushing for this to be made. So, and released. So they're like, fine, we'll release Black Adam. And the other one is Don't Worry, Darling, a movie that I know nothing about. It's the one that was directed by Olivia Wilde that Shia LaBeouf said that he fired her. And then Olivia Wilde said, I never fired you. I don't know. I don't know the story. Look it up. There's some drama. It came out today, so I have no idea what's going on there. So they're releasing those 2 movies. They only have enough cash to do it. So everything else has been moved to 2023. So that Shazam squeakquel, nope, 2023.
Dang it.
I know. Very, very sad. And we got a lot of stuff that Warner Brothers is no longer making on HBO Max, but they're still made, and they are like shopping around to different networks. So I will be going over those because we have a couple to get through. There was going to be an Amazing World of Gumball movie coming out on HBO Max. HBO Max says, we cannot afford to have you on our service. So, nope, bye-bye.
I wish you nothing but pain.
We wish you nothing but pain. So everyone was working on that, and then like, uh-oh. So Hulu, Netflix, Paramount Plus, it's going to go somewhere, but HBO Max is not going to be it. Another one that is like that is the new Batman show, which I thought was really weird. Batman Cape Crusader. Got a poster probably about a year ago at this point, honestly. I really liked the poster. It reminded me of like that old 20s style Batman, very Art Deco. Really looking forward to that one. That one is no longer going to HBO Max. One of Warner Brothers' probably best-selling things out there, Batman. Nope, bye-bye. And already, Apple TV Plus, Hulu, and Netflix are already kind of fighting to get this one because obviously it's a Batman show. They want the rights to put it on their program. But we also got some interesting people that were announced to be developing the project. We got J.J. Abrams, who, you know, I don't know. I don't really like J.J. Abrams. But we also have Matt Reeves, who I do like. I loved the Batman. So you can call me a dude bro all you want, but I really did like the Batman. So those two guys, among others that I did not recognize. So if there was a big notable person in that list that I got wrong, leave a YouTube comment. Tell me why I'm stupid. But there you go. That one's also not coming to HBO Max. Speaking of HBO Max, this is the longest section ever. Close Enough and Infinity Train, removed. You cannot watch it on HBO Max anymore. I'm glad we watched Close Enough when we did, because there was probably like a month or two before that show was completely gone. That whole, I guess the whole show, but also that season like just came out. It's kind of crazy. The creator of Infinity Train, Owen Dennis, has been pretty public in, I guess, kind of denouncing Warner Brothers at this point. He said that nobody knew beforehand that these shows were going to be removed from HBO Max. And he said that the way that Warner Brothers Discovery went about it was incredibly unprofessional, rude, and straight up slimy. There you go. There's your quote of the day. But, you know, if you still want to watch those, don't worry. You still can. Just go to Amazon, and you have to pay for each episode individually, like a serf, like a peasant, or I guess a rich person, because you have to pay a whole lot more money because you have to buy each episode individually. But there you go. I would recommend one of those shows. I have not seen Infinity Train, so I cannot speak to its quality. I've heard it's good. Is that it for HBO Max stuff? Oh, we do have some stuff. I guess this is good stuff? Question mark? We got, I guess this is related to that Batman show. We got Matt Reeves news. Matt Reeves just signed a first look deal with Warner Brothers. I don't know how many films this is for. For those who don't know, a first look deal is when a studio pays a writer-director to be like, hey, yo, if you write a script, you gotta give it to us first. We want the rights to it. We want to be the first ones to look at it. And then if we don't want it, then other studios can have it. I'm sure Matt Reeves was paid millions of dollars that maybe would have went into Shazam 2's release this year. I don't know. So there's that. We have no idea what Matt Reeves is going to do next. We know that the Batman sequel is confirmed. I don't think it's written yet. One of the Warner Brothers executives said, quote, "We are making an investment for whatever Matt feels a pull toward in the Batman universe and otherwise. He has an open invitation to go wherever his interests take him." So there you go. Hopefully he's going to make the Planet of the Apes 4 film, even though I know he is not. The last little thing I will talk about Warner Brothers. I think I talked about this a little bit last time. Batgirl, of course, was canceled. One of the directors, Bilal Fallah, tried to salvage the footage, and Warner Brothers deleted it. They removed it from their servers. So that's just months of their work completely gone. Here's a quote from him. "I went on the server and everything was gone. We were like, fucking shit. They did not even keep the scenes with Batman in it." So that's kind of weird. I don't know who was playing Batman in that movie. If it was Ben Affleck or I doubt it's Robert Pattinson. It's probably either Ben Affleck or, what's his face? Michael Keaton. Because he was in the Flash movie as Batman. Which, who knows if that's going to come out now. So, there you go. That's your Warner Brothers update. Everybody loves Warner Brothers. It's a good company. It's kind of been crazy how their reputation did a complete 180 in like a month. They went from
They
being...
did that themselves.
They really did. But they went from being, I don't know, I would say fairly positive. I didn't have bad things to say about Warner Brothers. Not nearly as much as bad things I had to say about Disney. But now, I don't know if I can say, you know what, I'll say Disney's better. They don't mass cancel everything, or at least not as publicly as
They
Warner
own
Brothers.
everything.
They own everything. But at least everything they own tends to come out. Sometimes I think
I'm
they put
taking
out
Warner
too
Brothers
much.
over that. Disney's kind of not.
Okay.
Disney's
That's
other
fair.
practices are pretty inhumane.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Everything in this industry is bad.
Well, yeah.
Except for maybe what A24 is doing. Hopefully that doesn't age like milk in a couple months where we find
I'm sure
out.
it will.
Yeah. But they tend to put creator first, which I think is a good stance. But enough with that. Let's talk about movie news, and then we'll end with show news and the discussions we will have there. We got some Netflix news. Netflix is making a BioShock film. They announced it. It will be directed by Francis Lawrence, who made I Am Legend, The Hunger Games Catching Fire, and Slumberland. One of those is a pretty good movie. I don't remember how Catching Fire was. I saw it once when it came out, and
Is that the second one?
that is the second one.
I think that one's pretty decent.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's written by Michael Green, and this guy has some good movies on his belt. He's got Logan and Blade Runner 2049. Great movies. Great movies.
The dudest of bros.
Yes, he's a very dude bro guy. But honestly, pretty good pairing. I don't know much about Francis Lawrence. I don't know what he's been doing in between I Am Legend and Hunger Games 2, or what he's been doing since then. But there you go. It'll be nominated for Best Adaptation at the Game Awards. Also, we got a release date for Knives Out 2, Glass Onion. It will be December 23rd. So you'll be able to...
Hey, man.
It'll be Christmas Eve, and all through the house, everyone was watching a movie where a dude gets
Glass
murdered.
Onion.
Everybody's going to be watching Glass Onion. Probably the funniest name for a sequel. So there you go. Glass Onion. I'm excited for that one. That one's going to be maybe a day one watch, maybe a day two watch, but very, very soon after it releases. I loved Knives Out. Very excited for this one. We got some, I guess this is, Danny DeVito's been doing some interviews because he's in.
Going hard on the timeline too. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he did. Okay, I feel like I need to explain this. So Danny DeVito is in a show with his daughter Lucy DeVito. I think it's her show. I'm pretty sure I don't know if she's a showrunner or what she is, but Danny DeVito has been talking about the show as if it's her show. So he's in the show with her. He plays her dad in the show, which is pretty funny. Her dad is Satan, and Danny DeVito playing Satan is probably the funniest thing that will ever come out of this podcast. But while he's been doing his press junket, Disney has announced that they want to do a live-action Hercules remake, because of course they do. Danny DeVito really wants to be Phil. He wants to reprise his role as the little, I don't even know what you call him, half goat, half man. There's probably a word for it, but I don't know it.
Centaur.
No, that's horse. Half horse. Goat tar. I think that's it. Danny DeVito said, quote, "If they don't put me in that, they don't have a hair on their ass."
Ooh.
Yeah, that's very, that's a very serious threat. And that's a very Danny DeVito threat. So I don't know if I would see the live action Hercules if Danny DeVito was in it. I would be more inclined to see it. I absolutely love Hercules. It's one
I
of
would
my
just watch
favorites.
the clips on Twitter that come from it.
That's probably true. I guess I didn't see the Dumbo remake, and Danny DeVito was in that, because why would I do that to myself? But speaking of Always Sunny, like tangentially,
Nobody said that.
Danny DeVito's in Always Sunny is all.
Yeah.
Matt Shackman is directing the Fantastic Four movie. When I saw that, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've heard that name before. And I was right. Matt Shackman directed a whole bunch of Always Sunny. 43 episodes of Always Sunny. So I've definitely seen his name on the screen before. Some of his noteworthy episodes: Nightman Cometh, Chardy McDennis, The Game of Games, and The Gang Turns Black. Some of my favorite episodes of the show. He's a real one. Will I see the Fantastic Four movie? Only if they cast Bob Odenkirk as Mr. Fantastic. There's been
True. That's a good point.
There's been a petition to make Bob Odenkirk Mr. Fantastic, even though they already got John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic.
We need Jonathan Banks to be the Rock Man.
That's what people were doing, like fan cast of Fantastic Four, and then it was just the Breaking Bad people.
It would be so good.
I would love it. Like they were having, Kim as Mrs. Fan. Was she Invisible Woman? They wanted Nacho as the Human Torch, and then they wanted Mike as the Thing. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And then Bob Odenkirk as Mr. Fantastic.
I would watch it, though.
I would watch that. I don't know if it would be any good. Directed by one of the guys who directed a whole bunch of Always Sunny and featuring the Better Call Saul cast. I would watch that. But we still have no idea who's been cast in it. I don't even think it's in that stage yet. Like, Matt Shackman I think he's currently in talks to direct. So they're into the negotiation phase. I'll let you know when they're going to cast people, but that movie's not coming out until 2024, so we probably won't even know. We'll know next year, but I don't think we're probably going to know before then. Speaking of an upcoming movie I'm very excited for. I'm not excited for the Fantastic Four. I don't know why I said that. Dan Harmon of Community, Rick and Morty, Harmon Quest fame he confirmed a Community movie is happening. I know this means nothing to you, but this is big. He says that there's a story outline for the film and negotiations are underway. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited for this. There's a running joke in Community where the perfect show is 6 seasons and a movie, and they've been like making that a joke like throughout the entire show. And there's 6 seasons of the show, so we've been waiting on the movie for years. And I loved Community. Community is a great show. There is the gas leak year, so you can probably skip that season. I don't remember. I think it's season 4, where the Russo brothers were making a Marvel movie, and Dan Harmon got kicked out, and they replaced him by 2 people who had really never made TV, and it's not good. It gets slightly better in the last 2 seasons. Jonathan Banks plays a teacher in the school, which I think is pretty funny. He's only in it for 1 season, and then he's replaced by a different old guy. So that's kind of funny. But I'm excited for this. If it's good, that'll be pretty epic. We got some news. These are words that I never thought I was going to say. We got some news about Francis Ford Coppola's new movie. I don't know. I didn't know that it was 2005. But apparently Francis Ford Coppola is still making movies. His movie's going to be called Megalopolis. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. We got some news that Aubrey Plaza was cast in it. Adam Driver cast in it. Forrest Whitaker, Natalie Emmanuel, John Voight, and Lawrence Fishburne. That's an all-star cast.
I love Lawrence Fishburne.
I do love Lawrence Fishburne. He's great. I also really like Adam Driver. Adam Driver has surprised me. He was
when he punched a hole in the wall.
He did do that. He did. There was some news about the guy who made Marriage Story. His new movie is coming out soon. And I'm like, should I see that? I really liked Marriage Story, but I don't know if any of his other movies are going to be that good. But yeah, love Adam Driver. Marriage Story's great. He was the best part of the Star Wars squeakquels, which was not hard to do, but he still did a pretty good job. So yeah, I'll see that. I'm not usually the biggest Coppola fan. I mean, I really like The Godfathers. Apocalypse Now traumatized me. I've never seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I do want to. But yeah, I don't particularly love him. He's a weird dude. So I feel like it would be kind of weird to say like you're an avid fan of his, because he's very like manic, and he does like a whole bunch of like different things. He's very wacky. He has his own wine. Maybe we should get some Coppola wine. That'd be kind of awesome.
Probably more expensive than Snoop Dogg wine.
Well, definitely more expensive than Snoop Dogg. Wasn't Snoop Dogg wine like $15?
It was like $13.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. There's your new Coppola movie update. I feel like Coppola and Scorsese might be like 2 of the oldest filmmakers that are still making movies. I guess, well, George Miller is still kicking too, but he was in the 80s. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let you know how that is. We got a new cast for Laika's new movie. Laika is that claymation studio. They made The Missing Link and Box Trolls and Coraline and Paranorman. They're a good company. I've always enjoyed their movies, and oh boy, this cast is really, really freaking epic. The 2 that you would probably know, Charlie Day. I love it whenever Charlie's in something. And Mahershala Ali, one of the best actors alive. I will say that. As long as Daniel Day-Lewis is in retirement, I would say that Mahershala Ali might be the best actor working. But there you go. Those 2 people are in it. I'm going to rattle off a whole bunch of names that film nerds are going to get. Carey Mulligan, Jacob Tremblay, Aquafina. I guess film nerds aren't the only people who know Aquafina. Angela Bassett, Jake Johnson, Jermaine Clement, Maya Erskine, and Amanda Stenberg. I think that's how you say her last name. The new movie's called Wildwood, and I might go see this. I'll see this. Why not? Looks good. I love Charlie Day. He always makes me laugh, especially as Luigi. Except we haven't seen him as Luigi yet. I'm waiting with bated breath for that Mario movie trailer. But
Luigi.
it's going to be hilarious. He's going to be a great Luigi.
I'm watching that movie day one, baby.
Me too. I feel weird giving Illumination money, but I guess I will for that one only. I resisted Minions 2, even though it would have been a funny meme to go see Minions 2. But I'll go see Mario. Going into show news, we got a whole bunch of show news. Actually, I already talked about all the HBO Max stuff, so we have less show news than I thought. Gay Pirate Show. New seasons coming out next year. I love that show. Very good. The end of season 1 made me cry. It was so sad. I'm very excited for that. I will be reporting on that when that comes out. The Last of Us. We mentioned this a little bit earlier when we were talking about the show, the Game Awards. We got a little teaser. It was like 15 seconds. It basically told us nothing. We just got Pedro Pascal saying one line that was ripped straight from the game. So that means that everybody and their dad made a comparison Twitter video about it. And I mean, it looks fine. I don't know what you want me to say about 15 seconds. What did you think of it? Because I assume you saw it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to hear them talk and be in character, not just weird behind the scenes shots. So
we did finally get that a little bit. I mean, really only Pedro Pascal. We haven't really seen what
still.
Ellie's like. I have no doubts about those two. They are very good. I really loved her in Game of Thrones. She might have been one of the only people actually trying in the later seasons of Game of Thrones. But we'll talk about that when we get to House of the Dragon. But we got the Atlanta final season poster, which usually I wouldn't bring up, but I don't remember if the release date was confirmed before, so I thought I'd bring it up again.
September or something.
September 15th. That is the release date. So really, we only got a couple weeks. At the time of this podcast coming out, it's just a couple weeks away. I'm pumped. I'm a little sad that it's the final season, but I'm excited.
I'm glad we're getting it so soon.
For real. Like, it's crazy how fast he turned that around. I know they were shooting them at the same time, but I thought they would have delayed it a little bit. We're getting 2 seasons of the show in 1 year. That's awesome. So much Donald Glover content that I've been starved for ever since 2020, and he made that album that's white. But not the White Album. That's a different one. It's called 182720.
Yep.
I don't know.
My favorite month is 18. I think it was in March or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like right before COVID.
It was like a month after COVID.
Was it?
It was like the Animal Crossing times. There's a very distinct period.
Yes, that is correct. It is 3/15/20.
Yeah.
So it was like right as everything was going down.
That was pre-Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing came out at 4/20.
Oh, that's right. So I remember the first time I listened to it, we were playing Minecraft, and we had it on in the background.
First time I listened to it was at 3 a.m. when it came out.
That's awesome.
Best first listen I've ever had.
Honestly, I don't dislike this record. It is the only Childish Gambino record I've ever heard. But I do like it. I guess unless you count
I think it's underrated.
I think so. There are some good songs on there. Actually, I've listened to Summer Pack, but I don't count that as a record. And frankly, I resent anybody that does. Because it's, well, I guess 2
Nobody
songs.
does.
Everybody does.
Okay.
Everybody. I've
always heard that people say the Summer Pack is his best album. That's a thing that people say.
People do say that.
Yep.
So there we go. Atlanta coming out soon. Okay, time to get serious. We've been very jokey this whole podcast, making all sorts of goofs and gaffes. But let's have a serious conversation about Better Call Saul, a very serious drama that has been turned into the laughingstock of the online community. What did you think of Better Call Saul?
I hated it.
What?
It was so bad, dude.
Oh no,
I can't believe that they didn't kill Saul and then do the perfect zoom out shot like they did at the end of Breaking Bad to mirror it exactly. I'm so mad.
That is true. That is true.
They didn't even play the Baby Blue song or whatever the song was.
I think it's Baby Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a perfect ending. I think they nailed it all the way through.
Yes. I don't know. I wasn't especially worried that they weren't going to stick the landing, but especially after being burned with Game of Thrones, and what else was I burned by? There was an ending that I didn't really like. Maybe it was The Last of Us too, but I like the ending.
Ozark was anticlimactic.
I guess Ozark, yeah. But yeah, I'm like, oh well, I hope they stick the landing. I've really enjoyed the whole show. All the 5 seasons are great. The first half of season 6 I really enjoyed. But if I'm being honest, the last part of season 6 was some of the best television I've ever freaking watched. It is amazing. Bob Odenkirk needs to win an Oscar for his performance. They need to break the rules. Even though it's a TV show, Bob Odenkirk definitely deserves the Oscar. Best director, Bob Odenkirk.
Give all of the Emmys to the Better Call Saul cast.
I hope so. The thing that's weird is that the Emmy nominations were revealed after the first half of the season came out. So they I don't know if they've taken into account the second half. I hope they have, because holy mackerel, this is awesome. I love this show so much. But why is it so good? Let's break it down.
Bob Odenkirk's in it.
Bob Odenkirk's in it. That's pretty much all you need to say. I love Bob Odenkirk. Right. I just looked over at my other monitor. I looked up the song from the end of Breaking Bad. I know you probably already know this, but the band is Badfinger.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, the ending of the show, it was a roller coaster, that ending. I don't even really want to get into spoilers, because I think this is a show that...
Let's just say Jimmy slipped his last slide, Jimmy.
Yeah, if people can discern that, then yeah. I implore everybody and their dad needs to watch Better Call Saul. This show, fantastic. The last 4 episodes especially, where we got like exclusively Gene content. Whew. Great. Carol Burnett, she plays a good old lady. That's all the positive things I have to say about acting in this season. Everyone else, all the other acting performances were subpar, but Carol Burnett as old woman, pretty good.
She really felt like an old woman.
She really did. Don't listen to the last podcast where I gushed about Rhea Seehorn's performance on the bus. Yeah, don't listen to that. Listen to me here now. It was bad. I take everything back. Her performance was bad. Bob Odenkirk was bad. Jonathan Banks was decent. And Giancarlo Esposito gets a gold star. That's
just for being alive.
For being alive in the end of the show. Nobody tell him. Babby hasn't seen Breaking Bad yet. We're going to watch it.
I have no idea what they're talking about in the show.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a good show. I now think that the official way to watch the universe is to watch all of Better Call Saul, except for the last 4 episodes. And then you watch all of Breaking Bad, and then you watch the end of Better Call Saul, and then you watch El Camino.
And then you watch El Camino. And then you watch Slip and Jimmy.
And then
It's
you
a treat.
watch Malcolm in the Middle, and then you
And then
watch
you
the
watch
X-Files.
the Colombian dub of the
Oh,
Breaking
Metastasis.
Bad. Metastasis.
Yeah. More people need to be talking about that. It's
I
it's
hope they do that for Better Call Saul.
they did. They announced it. I forgot what it's called.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I guess this is an interesting story.
I feel like most people know it, but I don't know.
I feel like most Breaking Bad fans know it. I don't know if like just the general populace knows that a soap opera company in, I think it was Colombia. I should look that up before making blatant metastate. Oh, now it's getting all cancer stuff. I don't want that. I want the dang show. Yeah, okay, it is Colombian. A soap opera company in Colombia completely shot for shot recreated the entirety of Breaking Bad, but they just did it in Spanish and with different actors. His name is Walter Blanco because they had to keep that consistent. I've never seen it. I've actually kind of want to see it. It's not reviewed well. It has 2.3 out of 10 stars on IMDb.
They're just taking it too seriously.
Yeah. I'm just
Nerds.
intrigued that they actually did it. Because yeah, there's 62 episodes of it. It's one season and 62 episodes. So I would be interested to see how it compares. I mean, it's the same show, but in Spanish, which means I'll actually have to watch it and can't just have it on in the background, which makes it a little bit
Just
unfortunate.
learn Spanish first.
Okay, I'll download Duolingo. But yeah, there's your little fun anecdote. There's 2 Breaking Bad shows. One of them is great, and one of them is English. Okay, I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones for not very long because I have not gotten a chance to talk about Game of Thrones on here because the last season came out before we switched to Spotify. I think I did talk about it on the podcast, but that podcast episode is long gone, baby. I mean, it's still available, but I'll never tell you how to access it.
Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Our podcast is bad, except for the ones that we're making now. We have good podcasts now, but before then it was bad. But I like Game of Thrones. I know that's a very unpopular opinion.
That's crazy.
I'm usually not a big fantasy guy, but the 2 exceptions are Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. If I guess I was going to be more specific, I would say the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. After that, it kind of goes downhill. It really doesn't like completely crash until the last season. Seasons 6 and 7 are fine, but not as good as the first. I think the first 4 are regarded as like the best. I like season 5, but not everybody does. But yeah, I really love Game of Thrones is different than most fantasy. There's not a lot of
Hang dong.
well, I guess yeah. They don't hang dong in Lord of the Rings.
Not yet.
Not yet. This new show that Amazon is going to make, they're definitely going to hang dong.
Where they specifically said there won't be any nudity.
You know, they should. The Boys has nudity in it.
I think they literally said there will be no nudity.
I hate Jeff Bezos. He's
Yeah.
the worst. But that's not why I love Game of Thrones. I love that it's pretty realistic. There's not a whole lot of like magic or stuff. Like the only real thing is there's dragons. And then there's the kid in the wheelbarrow that can see everything everywhere all at once before that movie came out. Who ends up being the king in the last season, which makes absolutely no sense and is stupid and
Because he
dumb.
can see everything.
It's
Duh.
one of the dumbest scenes in the entire movie where, like, not the movie, the show. But so, you know, the blonde chick, she like nukes King's Landing, like the big
Out of
city.
nowhere.
Yeah, kind of. Because like the whole show, she's like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna take it over, and I'm gonna like treat everybody equally. Like the whole show, she's like, she's freeing slaves and she's like liberating all these people. And then she gets to King Landing, and then out of nowhere, she like burns down like all of the civilians' houses. It isn't like she's going after like the nobility, or she's not burning down like the big castle. She's attacking innocent people who just live in King's Landing. And then Jon Snow kills her, even though she's his aunt, even though they were banging.
Yeah, it's Game of Thrones.
It's weird.
Incest is core to the plot.
Yeah, I guess it was just one, just one case of incest with the Lannisters, and then season 7 was like, wouldn't it be funny if we made Jon Snow and the chick he's banging? Wouldn't that be awesome if they were related? No, but I guess that's canon now. Did I mention that the last seasons of the show, the book wasn't out yet, so they had to come up with original plot, and they had no idea how to do that? Because that's what happened, and it's really bad. So Jon Snow kills his aunt, aka the chick that was set up to be the ruler of everybody throughout the whole entire show. And then they have like a council where everybody gets together and they're like, who should be king? And it's like, should it be Jon Snow? Because he's also been kind of reared up to be like the king of the North throughout this entire show. And then the blind, or he's not blind. He just, he can't walk. And he's just like, I want to be king. Why else do you think I came here, you stupid idiots? I can see everything. I can see the future and I can see the past, and I'll never make the same mistakes. And then everyone's like, that's a good
Makes
idea.
sense to me.
I mean, yeah. But it's dumb, because that's not even what that guy is supposed to be. I've never read the books. I don't care about the books. Anybody who cares about the books can shut up. I don't care. I don't care if the show is different than the book. This is something, I guess this is a bigger problem that I have with people. If there is a movie or TV show that is based off the book, can you shut up? Shut up about if it's different than the book, okay? It makes literally no sense. If a movie is good and it's different than the book, that's a good thing. You get more content in the world that you love. But they make one thing different and they make it out like it's the worst thing ever. So I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I just got into a little bit of a tussle with my aunt because she read the Shining book, and then she was complaining to me about the Shining movie, which I consider to be one of the best movies of all time. And she's like, this chick was horrible. And I'm like, dude, she's like one of the best parts of this whole entire movie. Are you blind? I don't care that she says different lines than the book. This is a tangent. Whatever.
You haven't even talked about
I haven't even talked about the show. I'm just upset about Game of Thrones, and I haven't had a chance to talk about it on this podcast, so I want to.
You said you'd be brief, by the way.
Yeah, I did. Whatever. I said this was going to be a long podcast. Buckle up. So I watched House of Dragons today. This is like a week after it came out. There's one episode out, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get hurt again. So I turned it on. It takes place, I think, 172 years before the events of the Game of Thrones show. I don't know why it's so specific, but it is. And I liked it. I hope that it doesn't go downhill from here. I think we have 9 episodes to go. I don't know. I thought it was really well done. The cinematography was amazing. We got some great set design, obviously. All the costumes were phenomenal. The show itself, pretty decent in terms of like writing and stuff. The main character is another silver-haired chick like Daenerys. I'm sure people that have not watched Game of Thrones will not get those two confused at all. It's a little bit confusing because everybody who's a Targaryen has silver hair. So like everybody in this show is silver haired because back then the Targaryen were the ruling class. So yeah, there's this king who he's the dad of the main character chick, and his wife is pregnant. And throughout the first episode, he's like, I'm going to have a son. I'm going to have a legitimate heir. This is going to be great. And his brother's like, this isn't great. I hope your son dies, you stupid idiot. And the king's like, well,
Let's go.
he's still pretty cool. He is my brother, so I'm not going to kill him. Because even though he's a horrible person and he massacres people in the streets, he's still all right. He's my brother. I have
He's
to.
family.
He's family. It's fine. And then they have this big tourney where there's been the meme of the guy who's flopped over on the rail. That is his brother, who is he's not killed by the joust, but he does lose. But while that's going on, the wife's giving labor. It's labor time. And
Labor Day.
it's Labor Day. So the king leaves the tourney to go see his wife, and the guy who's doing who's delivering the baby is like, you're going to have to
The
make
dragon.
Well, no. That would have been funny, because they do say that, like, this dragon is going to come out of you and it's going to be awesome. And then she's like,
Yeah, they bang the dragons.
no. They do not bang the dragons. The main character chick rides dragons. I think all of the Targaryens ride dragons. But the doctor's like, hey, you're going to have to make an impossible choice. We either have to kill the baby to save your wife or kill your wife to save your baby. And the king's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Actually, I do know what to do. Kill my wife. She's dumb and stupid anyways. I want this male heir.
Women? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? By the way, he didn't know it was going to be a boy. He just had a dream that it was going to be a boy. So he's like, I know that this is going to be my male heir. So
If it was a daughter, he's just like, eh.
if it was, well, luckily for him, it is a boy. But, they had to like cut open his wife. It was basically like before a C-section was a thing, but they just like completely like cut
E-section.
her E-section or D-section. I guess that's funny. Yeah, but they just like completely like cut her stomach open and then just, which I guess is what a C-section is, but they were more, graphic about it because it was, medieval times. And there's no magic. So, yeah, the wife dies and then he's like, oh, it's a baby boy. That's awesome. And then it's revealed that the son also died. He was alive for like 2 hours and then the baby died also. So the king is just like super depressed. And he's like, not only did I just kill my wife for no reason, I also just lost the one thing that I've been talking about for months. And so he like goes to the funeral and his brother doesn't go to a funeral. Instead, he goes to a whorehouse and buys the whole place out. And then he's like, yo, everybody, let's toast to my dead nephew, the heir for a day. He's so stupid. The king is a dumb idiot. And that's finally the breaking point where the king's like, you called my son a heir for a day? And he's like, well, yeah, it was a funny joke. And he's like, get out of here. You are banished. So then he banishes his brother. And then he's like, my daughter? Actually, you're the heir. And then she's like, a woman has never ruled the whole world. That's so awesome. So now she's the heir. And then it's set up that his brother's going to bring a real bad dragon. And he's probably going to kill all the civilians like Daenerys did. But I liked it. It was a good episode. I'm glad to be back in the Game of Thrones universe. I haven't watched Game of Thrones since it came out. And I don't really want to. I don't want to watch the last 3 seasons, which I guess I could just ignore those, just stop. But yeah, there we go. There's your House of Dragon. I probably won't talk about it every week. I'll probably talk about it once the show's over. Oh, they should have considered that before naming the show. They're frankly stupid for naming it House of Dragon. D's nuts. But there you go. I'll talk about it in a couple months when it's over. We probably won't have another discussion until Atlanta's done. Well, I don't know. We might talk about. We're gonna watch American Psycho after we're done with regular show. We're also gonna watch the regular show movie. So I guess we could talk about those. Are we doing anything else? Or are we gonna do Sopranos after that?
I think we're doing Sopranos after that.
Okay. Sopranos is another show that has a controversial ending.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I know what it is because I think at this point it's impossible to be as active in the TV and film community as I am without knowing the ending to The Sopranos, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I will not spoil it, and frankly, I don't even know if what I know is correct. So I guess we'll see in a couple months. I mean, probably by December, if I'm being honest, because we're not even done with the second to the last season of regular show yet. So there you go. Let's move on to music.
I love music.
Me too.
How do you want to structure this? We have a discussion, and then we have a big long list of things that I
Another
need to
one?
talk about.
Okay.
And we have a concert discussion to go over.
Of course we do. I don't know.
Let's do that first. I'll put timestamps in the description because there's a lot we're going over today. So if you want to skip around, do that.
I will not do that.
If you're on the YouTube, if you're on the podcast, deal with it.
Yeah. Skip ahead a couple seconds.
Yeah. Well, the concert was good. Done. But yeah,
Yeah.
we went to the Big Steppers tour.
We did.
Yeah, last weekend, Baby Keem, Tana Leone, and some little guy named Kendrick Lamar. I don't know who that is.
He is a little guy.
He's a little guy, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. This was probably the best concert I've been to.
I think it's the best concert I've
I
been
would
to.
probably rank it top one. It's one of those things where you don't realize how many hits someone has until they play all of the hits for an hour 40
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was thinking about it. I've come to call most of the songs that he played. I think of them. I call them piano mans, as in if Billy Joel did a concert and did not play Piano Man, there would be rioting in the streets and everyone would be really confused as to why Billy Joel did not play Piano Man. And I was thinking about all of the Piano Mans that Kendrick has, and I'm like, oh, frick, I don't even know how he did All Right and King Kunta and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. And he did Good Kid and Mad City, I'm pretty sure.
He didn't do Good Kid.
He didn't?
No.
Oh, he just did Mad City.
Yeah. Which is all you need.
Yeah.
Frankly.
And he did Humble, DNA, and then I think he probably did about half of Mr. Morale and Big Stepper. Mostly the first disc.
He did most of it.
Mostly the first disc. Didn't do much of the second one.
The only one he didn't do was Anti-Diaries, Mother I Sober. I think that's it. I think he did everything.
Did he? Well,
Yeah.
I guess I don't really count We Cry Together, even though it was just like the instrumental.
Well,
because you can't do that.
Yeah. But I
and
think he did everything.
He didn't do the interludes.
Well, yeah, you're not going to do it.
He didn't do the Heart Part
Stupid.
5.
That's also stupid to do. So
I like the Heart Part 5. I would have.
yeah, but that's not a concert song.
It would have been fun. I said
It'd be weird.
fun and good, a good song.
He'd have to have like 16 body doubles with Kanye West.
Well, he doesn't have to do the music video. He can just do the song.
Yeah, no, it's a weird song to do live.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did like all of the hits that you could imagine. I don't think there was a single song that I was like, ooh, he should have done that one. I think he covered every single base.
I'm sad. He kept teasing us. There was like halfway through the show where he would do like the first verse of like a song where he did like
Yeah.
just the chorus of Loyalty, and I love Loyalty. And it was just like a little snippet of it, and then he would move on, and then he would do like a little bit from Love, and then he would move on or something. I think he actually did the whole thing of Love. But there
think
is
he
that
did.
little thing.
Yeah, Tyler did that too, where he'll run through some like first verses and things, and then not take up too much time of it, which is cool. I mean, you still get to hear him.
I understand why.
I feel like Loyalty would have got a little bit too tame for what was happening.
I suppose. Yeah, it was he was going hard, and everyone was going hard at the show. It's pretty fun.
Yes, I think Baby Keem's set was really fantastic too. It should have gone longer. It was way too fast. But he even did Praise God. I had no idea that he was going to do Praise God, so that was a big surprise, and I loved it.
I have nothing to say about the Baby Keem thing. I liked his set, but I've never listened to the Melodic Blue or any of his other projects, so I don't know. I should have listened to the Melodic
You
Blue,
should have.
but I did
because-
not.
That music was made for the concert setting, and it went so hard. Yeah, he did great. I think the best songs were probably, well, he had a live band there, so when he did Money Trees and then just did like a guitar solo outro, that was probably the best thing.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love Money Trees.
Yeah, and Family Ties is probably the best overall. I think Vent into Family Ties was probably the best moment of the whole concert. Because that was at the point where you didn't know what the last song was going to be, so it sounded like everything was an encore.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vent into Family Ties especially was just so insane.
See, I'm not the biggest fan of Family Ties, so I was.
I don't know how you couldn't just lose your mind at that though. Like that was too good for what that was. I'm like, the minute I heard Family Ties, I'm like, if they ever do this live, it's gonna be absolutely insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I prefer, I liked Kendrick's his solo set. I really enjoyed when Baby Keem came out. I'm like, okay, it's fine. But that's just me. I'm a big Baby Keem hater. I think
Really are.
I'm not. I'm just not a big fan of that song. But
That's insane to me. I have like a wild nostalgia for Family Ties already.
that is, well, I mean, I've always been like that. Like when we first talked about it, I was
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
not crazy about it. I don't know.
It's still crazy though.
I think it doesn't do anything for long enough. It goes by too fast. Like by the time I'm in the groove of something that he's doing, it switches. And I'm like, okay. I'm more of like, like when it comes to rap for me, I really like a constant something that I can like groove out and like chill to. Like pretty much anything from Low End Theory. Like that's the stuff I really vibe with, where it's just like the same bass for like a really long time while there's some great bars going over it.
Which is weird because every other style of music you like prefer the opposite almost.
That is true. Yeah, I'm very picky when it comes to rap. I don't know why that is, but
I don't think you've had enough exposure yet either.
that is
still-
true.
You're still very new to the genre, relatively.
Yes, I've only really started listening to it over the past year, or maybe year and a half at this point. It was when we did the Rolling Stone.
probably. Yeah.
That was the first exposure I ever had to it. I probably started consistently listening to it about 6 months after that. So maybe I'm just a dumb idiot, indie folk, dumb idiot guy that is too white to appreciate good rap. I don't know.
I've been big up on Baby Keem since last year, so I try to hype him up at every moment because he is the future.
I really enjoyed his set. Like,
Yeah,
I really
he
enjoy. He's
really
a great
did well.
performer. And I love 16.
Yes.
That's a great song. I love.
He did
that song.
Issues as well, which was really good. Yeah, it's just he's got a great energy, and there's so many random quotables in his songs that make absolutely zero sense, but they're just the most fun to shout during a concert because they're just so random.
Like, my name is not Jeff.
My name is not Jeff. Ripping rubber bands on the meatloaf is one of the most fun things to say. I don't know. That's the weirdest way to describe like money in a rubber band, but it's the most fun way to do that.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, Family Ties was the highlight for me. Like they had pyrotechnics going, and the whole thing
They
was
did.
red, and it was just like nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything was choreographed. It was very, very well done. It felt like it was a cohesive experience, but it wasn't like a super artsy thing.
No.
It felt like it helped the show move forward, but it wasn't the main focus. The main focus was just how many hits you could do in an hour and 40.
Right. It was like, I was going to say it's like going to a Kanye West concert, but like dialed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know.
Kanye has impossibly like too many hits to fill just one concert.
Yeah. Or like when he goes to like that Yeezus tour, you see like footage of that and it's like a 15-minute out thing where he's just like auto-tune about just over a beat. And it's like, okay, that's like too artsy for me. I prefer something that like more like
Well,
Kendrick
Yeezus
did.
tour had a mountain. Yeezus tour kind of cemented this new generation of like elaborate sets that Tyler and
Yeah.
Travis Scott and Kendrick are doing.
Yeah.
Where they had a mountain. He was dressed up in a mask and he had dancers and literally Jesus came out during the set.
Yeah.
It was a whole movie. And I
Yes.
kick myself every day that I never went to the Yeezus tour. And Kendrick opened for the Yeezus tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah,
he
you
was
should have
writing
went to
T-Pab
that.
with the Yeezus tour.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh.
That's why the Jamaican guy on Blacker the Berry is on Blacker the Berry because it was on Yeezus.
Yeah, that's right. I remember I said something about that on the Yeezus thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeezus reaction video.
But yeah, best concert I've been to. I think it was absolutely insane.
I think so. I was thinking of that. I'm like, Billy Joel probably takes a close second, but those are vastly different experiences.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Billy
I don't know
Joel
what I'd
is
take
old.
second. I don't know what I was like having as my number one. I don't know.
Of like recent years, I can only think of 3 concerts I've been to. Those being Billy Joel, Kendrick, and Lucy. And, you know, not ragging on Lucy at all, but like, you know,
It was a shorter show.
it was a short show. I really liked it. It was intimate.
It was great.
It was great. She was just chilling on the couch the whole time, which was not intended, but
No, but I mean, it was
fine.
still good.
It was still good. She still knocked it out of the park. But man, that Billy Joel was
Yeah.
he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a really cool concert. Phoebe is also fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little sad that was outside because it was supposed to be in a more intimate venue, and they switched it. So I would have liked it more if it was inside. But she has too many like fantastic songs for concerts.
Yeah.
Lucy was great. Tyler was really cool. I didn't realize the energy difference between the two until Kendrick, because Kendrick was so hyped the whole time.
Yeah.
Tyler was a little bit more like not less hype. It was not as you couldn't feel the energy around you as much. Not everybody was like so into it. A lot of people were there for Kelly Uchis. So I think that's the main reason why.
Yeah.
Because she had like the crowd was so much more hype for her than they were for Tyler almost.
That's crazy.
It was strange. But yeah, me and Bab Jab are seeing Godspeed in November. So
Was Bab Jab into Godspeed?
yeah, he said he wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
I can never tell with him. Mm-hmm. He usually likes most of the things I like. He just doesn't tell me until. Well, I think I like whenever I have him stuff on the playlist, then he starts listening to stuff, and then I never know that he's listening to that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But very excited for that because that is literally like an actual concert and not a like get around and dance concert. Like you get in, you stay there, and you just listen to music for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And there's a constant just buzz the whole time.
You're not going to be bopping around to Godspeed.
No, I don't know what you do there. You kind of just appreciate it
yeah.
and stand in awe. You're going to just look like a zombie.
Yeah.
But very excited for that. I've watched some of their live performances, and it just seems like it's going to be like an insanely like personal experience because usually in concerts, things are broken up. Songs are only 4 minutes long max at concerts. And now you have a band that plays 20-minute songs. So there's going to be constant noise.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the feelings those songs give in stereo is one thing. When the room is physically like reacting to the sound waves bouncing off, that's a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
going to be a cool one.
that's going to be an insane experience. But yeah, we can move on
Okay.
to everything else. Last week, I don't think there was really much that I remember. I think
don't
this
think
week
so.
was the big week. I listened to a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll get to that after the new releases.
Okay.
So Joe G has a new single out,
That's fun.
Yukon Interlude. He also announced the new album.
What?
It is coming out in November, I believe.
Wait, he released an interlude as a
He
single?
released an interlude as the lead single to this album.
That's interesting.
Oh, third album cut. What are the other two? Glimpse of Us, and then what is the other one? Yeah, November 4th is when the album is coming out. It is called Smithereens.
He likes
That's
his
a good
winter
name.
releases, doesn't he?
He does. He's a very winter artist.
Well, actually, no. Nectar came out in September. Never mind. But I could see him. That's definitely. I could see him do a November drop. That'll
Yeah.
be good.
So, Glimpse of Us, this one apparently is a third single, but I don't know what it is. This one's decent. I mean, it's an interlude, so there's not much for me to grasp onto here. Joji, for me, blends together a lot.
Yeah.
I think Nectar was great in the singles. I thought, Run and everything were really great. So, I'm still interested in this. I'll see. I'll check it out when it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably the same. I listened to Nectar, and I thought that the singles were the best songs. But there's
Yeah.
some good stuff. I like
Yeah.
Afterthoughts good.
Afterthought's great.
I don't know. I don't know any of the other songs. I just know that Bab Jeb has that song on our playlist, and I like it.
Yes. Magdalena Bay. New
What?
single. All You Do. I have not heard Mercurial World yet. Babjab has it on his wheel, so I'm not listening to it until we react to
I
it.
know, I
Hopefully
really
we can
wanna
get Babjab
listen
on
to it.
very soon because
Yeah.
this song is a bop. I love it. It doesn't seem as glitchy as some of the stuff in Mercurial World. I haven't listened to the album, but I have definitely listened to songs because Babjab has them on a playlist that we listen to.
Suswert.
Yes. Shushwort, whenever we do a road trip, we make a new playlist, and the names just get more and more undistinguishable. But yeah, this single is really great, really smooth. The singing is fantastic on it. So yeah, I don't know if this is leading up to anything or if this is just kind of single, but it's very good. I'm loving the sound of it. What else do we have? We have 2 albums this week. I think I can just jump into those because I don't see any other singles that I liked. Besides, there is a new Nav song, but I forgot to listen to the new Nav song. But people have actually said it's a pretty good Nav song. So, unironically. So, the GOAT, he's
Okay.
back. I don't know when the album's coming, but
Hopefully soon.
hopefully soon. Fingers crossed. Let's talk about Alchemist first.
Okay.
Alchemist and Rock Marciano. This is a really good pairing. I feel like people have been waiting for this for a while. The Elephant Man's Bones. I hate him for naming this album that because I just picture the Elephant Man every time, and that's not an image I like looking at.
Rude.
But this cover is really awesome. This looks like our reaction bottom left, and I love it. But yeah, this is a standard Alchemist released with a collaboration. I still have no idea how he pumps out this much material with these kind of rappers where it's a very cohesive experience and he makes all these beats that sound really fantastic on such a short time period and they all feel like they're tuned to the artist's caliber.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't listened to many Rock Marciano albums. I love him a lot on features. He's like if West Side Gun was very lyrical.
Okay.
In the way that he has a really weird vocal inflection. He's got a very different sense of humor to him and is very off kilter in general. So when Rock Marciano and West Side Gun are on a track together, it is just great all the time. But this thing really, really flies by. I'm not picking up on much lyrically. When I listened to it today, I was just floored by how good the beats were. so I wasn't really paying attention to lyrics as much. I caught a couple of like funny one-liners in there, but I haven't gotten much out of it yet in that terms of that.
Yeah.
But features here, you got Action Bronson, you got Boldy James, you got Ice-T on this thing,
Ice-T.
and Knowledge the Pirate. They all do fantastic. Ice-T doesn't really have a verse; he just kind of has like an intro and outro skit thing.
Frank.
But it's still funny to have him on the record.
So you're telling me they got Ice Cube on a record and they didn't
Ice-T.
even get him on the verse?
Ice-T, very different person.
I was doing a bit.
Ice-T.
I know. Okay, what's next?
Boldy James probably has the best verse in this album.
Oh, okay.
I'm so biased because I think Alchemist and Boldy James are just the same person. They fit each other too well to be two different people.
They probably are.
Like Boldy James on Alchemist production is just the perfect match. But yeah, highlights here. Daddy Kane with Action Bronson is fantastic. Quantum Leap's beat is insane. Bubble Bath has an insane beat as well. Trillion Cut with Boldy James is probably my favorite. And Zip Guns with Knowledge of the Pirate is also really great. So need to listen to this thing more. I've only listened to it once. But just like production wise, the first listen, this is fantastic. I need to get into it lyrically. But it's Alchemist, so any collaboration he does with anybody is going to have a certain amount of quality to it, and this definitely matches it. But it'll probably go up once I listen to it more. But it's still pretty good. All right, let's get to the big dog this week. Jid dropped the album, The Forever Story, finally, after 3 years of waiting. His last album came out in 2018, but he has been teasing this album by name for years. So this is probably one of the most anticipated for people that are in the know. But I'm also seeing a lot of people say that this is their first Jid album. He blew up again with his Imagine Dragons song from earlier this year that has almost 1 billion plays. So, you know, shout out that. I mean, he's gotten like a huge push from that. I think he's ranked 183 in the world on Spotify right now, which I never thought I'd see ever. I mean, I listened to him back in 2018 when DiCaprio 2 came out, and I'm like, this guy is like phenomenal. Why is he not like the next thing? But then, you know, this is a big break. So it's like, okay, it's kind of a do or die moment, which is weird to say since people speak so highly of him already. But this thing is absolutely fantastic. It's been getting insane reviews. People are just absolutely loving it. It's one of those things where you don't see very often where like the entire hip hop community is like, yo, this is awesome. Like even when Kendrick released this year, some people were like, this is kind of mid for 5 years of a wait. This thing is like universally just like, oh my God. It's absolutely insane. I made the mistake of listening to this at like midnight when it came out. I did not have the energy that this record was giving me. But the other listens I gave it, I'm like, ooh, this is really fantastic. Yeah, I think listening to it while sleepy was not good because the first, the first 6 tracks on this thing are so absolutely off the rails that like it just wasn't a match at first. Wow. But starting with Radar is like the level of DNA where it's just like absolute insanity right off the bat. It's strange because like this is his 3rd album in, but he still sounds like he's fighting, like he's just incredibly hungry for like recognition from everybody, which is always great to see. I don't like when people get too complacent, especially when they're of his style where it's like lyrical prowess and stuff. I do think like the singles here, like Dance Now is cool. I think it's better in album context. It was supposed to be 16 songs. There's only 15 because he couldn't get a sample cleared. But 2007 is on YouTube. It's like 7 minutes long. That's the true outro. But it's weird because Louder 2 is actually a good outro. So he still made it work. Except, you know, the intended outro is not on Spotify, unfortunately. So if you want the full experience, you got to head over to YouTube afterwards.
Oh, frick.
I don't know if that'll ever get cleared or not. There's like a whole bunch of different beats because he talks about like the journey through that, and through every year there's a different albums or there's a different songs instrumental playing to represent the time period. So there's like the high power beat from Section 80 and stuff in it, which was cleared obviously because J. Cole made that beat. But yeah, I mean, Radar is absolutely insane. There's like 6 beat switches on this 3.5 minute song. Absolutely crazy. I'm looping this album in with Mr. Morale and the Melodic Blue as a new brand of hip hop that is super beat switchy and super like vocal inflection heavy,
Yeah.
where there's constant switches. That's kind of like the new wave
And
that started.
Kendrick's always been like that.
Yeah, but it's accentuated now.
Yeah.
Now that Baby Keem's with them, like they are bouncing off ideas off each other, where it's just like constant beat switching, constant vocal inflections,
He's
constant
going,
like
brother.
yeah, stop and go, all this weird stuff. Dance Now's cool. Crack Sandwich is absolutely insane. I don't understand. I didn't understand the structure of the song at first, but it's so crazy. It's like a pretty normal song until the back half, where it switches into a story about how he like got in a fight in New Orleans, and like the track ends with everybody just fighting in the street, and the way the instrumental builds around it and everything, it's just so crazy. Can't Punk Me with Earth Gain right after that is 1-2 punch. The energy the first half of this record brings is absolutely insane. Everybody's talking about Cody Blue 31. I don't think people knew Jid could sing well. I don't think they ever heard Sandstorm. Which, you know, they should have heard Sandstorm because he can sing really well. It's weird because he is like the tightest flow in the game. He's the smoothest rapper out right now, and he can sing really well. He's doing Kendrick on this album better than Kendrick can do usually. With like smooth tracks and everything, like he's doing it better. This sounds like 2013 Kendrick, but smoother, which is weird. Like I'm seeing like this second coming of like an artist. But crazy, Bud and M with Lil Durk. Lil Durk is awesome on it. System M is the 6-minute song afterwards. There's an uncredited James Blake feature on the hook. That's crazy. The beat is so trippy. This is a typical like long form Kendrick song where it's like 3 verses of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Kills it. Does really well. I don't mind taking influence from other artists if you do it this well, because he is killing it. He's doing Kendrick better than Kendrick does sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it's like it starts crazy. It smooths out a little bit as soon as you get to Cody Blue 31. It starts getting a little smoother. They're not going to hit you over the head with these insane flows and beats the whole time. Can't Make You Change with Ari Lennox is great. Stars with Yasin Bey is crazy.
Oh, I like
This
him.
is like I wish Kendrick would do this stuff. Super psychedelic, virtually no drums. There's a vocal changer throughout the like first verse where it goes from a low register all the way to a high register. And then Yasin Bey, like it's like a switch into his verse at the end. It's like a completely separate thing. But I think Yasin Bey is the only person to out rap Jid on this album. Which
Wow.
I mean, it's Yasin Bey, so he's
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
Which is weird. He's on this album, and then he cleared the Miss Fat Booty sample for surround sound. So
Oh, that's
good on
nice.
him.
Yeah.
And then Just in Time with Lil Wayne and Kenny Mason sounds like it's like out of the 2013 mixtape era, which is cool. Money's the only one that isn't like absolutely crazy. I think he tried something. He always has like some quirky song on his album. Like Never Story had like Ed and Eddie and stuff, which is a little bit like more off kilter, like fun type thing. He has like a children's choir here, which is cool. It just doesn't hit as hard as the rest of the tracks here. And then Better Days is great as well, but Louder too. Louder was probably my favorite Jid song up until this album. Like that was the ending of the Never Story, so it's fitting that it's the end of this album, being the Forever Story. James Blake is on the beat here, and Thundercat's in the mix here as well, I think. Absolutely crazy. I don't know if I like it better than Louder. I don't know, because that song, when I heard Louder, like I was very into hip hop when I heard Louder in 2018, but I'd never heard anything like that. Where someone was just that on the money with everything. Like Jid being as smooth as he is so good. He just does so many different flows. His enunciation is fantastic. He does like homophones and like double entendres. He does things with words that are like really fantastic. I still think Andre's probably like by far the best ever. I don't think anybody's touching Andre when it comes to just saying words in a pattern that like nobody else would ever be able to comprehend. That man is magic. But Jid is he's such a satisfying rapper to listen to because everything is so smooth. There's no clunkiness anywhere. But yeah, this thing is absolutely fantastic. I do need to sit with it more. I played it in the car today as well, and it does really, really well on speakers. This really is like, there's like things of AT Aliens in here. There's things of Good Kid, Mad City in here. There's a lot of Damn in here as well, with like opening up with radar.
Damn influence.
A lot of Damn influence. We can actually say that without it being a meme.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I think this is as good, if not better, than Mr. Morale. Yeah,
Wow.
it's fantastic. I would put it up there. I think the Grammys are going to be really great this year if the Grammys actually choose the artists that are dropping really great albums.
Wow.
If we can get Denzel Curry, if we can get Kendrick, and we can get Jid in a Grammy category next year for Best Rap Album, it's going to be really good.
Well, yeah, but there's no way.
Jid's popping now.
The Grammys are bad, though.
They are, but Freddie Gibbs got a Grammy nomination last year.
That is true. I guess
There's always like a
anything's
dark
possible.
horse spot. He was never going to win, but like he was there.
He was there.
So I'm hoping because this thing deserves all the praise it's getting. And I hope he really runs with it from here. I see Jid as being like, there's always like a question of like, who's going to be the top dogs of the next decade. Usually we start to see a little bit of groundwork for that now. I think Tyler is definitely up there in terms of this decade, in terms of biggest rappers to look out for. I think I'd put Jid up there as well as Denzel Curry. I think those three are kind of leading the charge. If you don't count, Kendrick and Kanye and Drake from last decade. I think the new people that are coming up would be those three, in terms of mainstream at least, or more mainstream. But yeah, fantastic. This met all expectations. I've been waiting for this thing for a long time. I'm glad it definitely lived up, and I'm excited to see him continue to get better and better. I'm hoping he doesn't take 4 years to release something else, but I think he had his mind set on this album for a long time. So it's not like there was a writer's block process. It was just a lot of like, I need to make sure this is the album and the statement that I want it to be. And it still feels very modern. It feels of the time, but it also feels forward thinking. So he killed it. Fantastic. Amazing.
Epic.
Other than that, I have a whole bunch of other albums that I listen to.
Okay, great.
Sometimes I get these things where I'm like, or I'll binge a podcast at work, and then I'll finish that podcast and be like, now what do I do? So I kind of just like had a list of albums that I was looking at. So we'll go through those real quick. Let's start with Fishman's. A lot of this was kind of like rounding out things or discographies that I was interested in, because I kind of did like one album and then stopped because I had a couple things on my list. But I wanted to go back to Fishman's a little bit. So I listened to, I'm going to butcher this, Uchu Nippon Setegaya. This is their 1997 album. I think this is their last one. Yeah, this is their last album technically. The live album was after this, the year after. And that is their best record, I can say that. But this is kind of like the one in between Long Season and then that final live album. So this one kind of gets overshadowed, which is strange. They usually do a lot of like more dub and reggae influenced dream pop, which is a weird combo. It is pretty good, but like it gets too like campy sometimes, where it's like, okay, this is a reggae song, but it's a dream pop song, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
But this album is fully into dream pop and more like ambient pop almost, and it goes over really well. This is just a very, very, very good, feel good, just chill album to have on the background. It's great walking music, I think. It's really great. I think it definitely gets overshadowed by the ones that are kind of sandwiching it in their discography, but I definitely wouldn't sleep on it. I think the intro Poca Poca is really, really fantastic. It's just really smooth, like dream pop. Something with their live album is there's always like a lot of flash going on because it's a live performance. With these ones, you really just get in there with like just the vibe and the atmosphere of the tracks. So this one's really great. I don't think it touches Long Season or the live album, but it's still pretty good. Guess we'll go to Duster next. I listened to the Field album, whatever that one's called. Stratosphere, that's the one. That's the one everybody talks about from their discography. I listened to that a couple months ago. Looks like I listened to it in June. Really like that one. It was very lo-fi, very slowcore. It's kind of like the definitive album for that. I didn't realize they left for that long. There's a gap from 2000 to 2019. So I don't know why they were gone for 19 years, but kind of weird. So I listened to their 2019 self-titled one with the funny cat on it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to a cat album. I actually like this one more than Stratosphere. I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
It is.
It might be. It very well might be. But they lean a lot more into shoegaze on this one, which is really, really cool. So there's a lot of like distorted guitars and just distortion in general. I think the atmosphere here is a lot more fleshed out. It's not as lo-fi as Stratosphere. Then there's a lot more of like a warm palette to a lot of these that is really, really enjoyable. This is fantastic background music again. Or just if there was a chill songs playlist, a lot of these songs could go in there. But there's enough of a backbone here. I think that it helps with the textures of the distortion of the guitars and just the layering of reverb on things that are really just heightening it for me, because I like that stuff more than just cut and dry lo-fi music. I want there to be some kind of fleshing out of the sound. I don't want it to be too one-dimensional. So I think the low end kind of builds here with this shoegaze stuff. But this one's really great. I like this one more than Stratosphere off first listen. And it has a funny picture of a cat on it. So, I mean, I can't really go wrong with that. So,
Well, I mean, you got to have a funny picture of a cat.
yeah. They did release an album this year. So I'm going to check that out next week. I had no idea that they released something this year.
Oh.
They're just like so under the radar, it seems. Like I see them get brought up a lot, but like nobody really talks about them.
It was on April 1st, so it's probably a goof.
Yeah, it's probably a big old goof. But I'll check that out next week. And then I finally checked out D'Angelo's Black Messiah.
Oh, the one from the summer songs.
2014. Yes, we listened to, what was the song? Really Love. That was in our summer songs video. Someone requested that, and I absolutely love that song. One of my favorite D'Angelo songs. And I said I was going to listen to the album, and then I forgot to for a while. So this week was the week, and my God, is this really, really, really good. I feel like he never lost pace. Even though like Voodoo came out 14 years before this, this is like he never skipped anything. He just jumped right back in there. It is so good. The rhythm here is just unbelievable. I don't know how he makes everything this smooth and just this groovy just instantly. He's my favorite R&B artist because like he's able to build atmosphere, which is very important to me, but at the same time have just like such a good groove with live instrumentation. One issue I have with a lot of R&B is that I feel like 808s kind of disrupt the R&B flavor of a lot of things. I want something that is incredibly smooth, incredibly just like warm and organic. And D'Angelo does that perfectly. But yeah, this thing is like watertight. There's no skips here at all. I think The Door was the only one that I wasn't crazy about, but everything else here is just absolutely beautiful. It's just a combination of someone who knows, I mean, he's a multi-instrumentalist, so he knows how to make these fantastic arrangements, and then his vocals are just insane. It's like there's a rhythm built into this man. I feel like every like simple task he does in life, even when he's just like walking, I feel like he has some kind of like weird rhythm to him just all the time.
Probably.
Like I've never heard something this tight of a groove or anything. Like I don't know if I like this or Voodoo better. This one is a lot more warm than Voodoo, but Voodoo's got this really cool like psychedelic like Pink Floyd-y element to it that's really cool. But yeah, both of these are really fantastic. So I'm glad I checked this one out. I need to listen to it more, but it is just if you ever need to just jam out for an hour, like this is the one to go to. What is that? I think I had one more to talk about. I've been listening to Patti Smith Horses again because I got that on a record. That album's fantastic. Just throwing that out there real quick.
Just to spite me?
Just to spite you. Last one I checked out was David Bowie's Low.
Oh.
I feel like I have an interesting relationship with David Bowie because I really like some of his stuff, and some of his stuff I just don't get.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to dig deeper and find out what stuff I really like from him and what stuff I don't. I think Black Star is my favorite record from his. It is his last one. Made like it was dropped 2 days before his death. He knew he was dying, and he made that album on his deathbed. It's insanely powerful. It's crazy. It's what I'd expect from him.
Yeah.
I've heard The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, but I need to listen to it again because I feel like I was missing something.
It was like the least David Bowie record I've.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah.
But Low here, I kind of piqued my interest because the genres were art rock and ambient, which I thought was interesting.
Okay.
And the first half of the record is very what you'd expect from David Bowie. It's really good, but it's more conventional. And then he pulls a Hounds of Love and goes completely off the walls in the last half into this really insane instrumental, experimental, ambient kind of section through the back half of the record. He makes this is like Kid A if Kid A was released in 1977. Like this is insanely ahead of its time. It's really, really good. It's really weird. And I don't know how someone made this in 77, to be honest. I know this one gets talked about. I think a lot of Bowie records get talked about a lot. But I don't know. I think this might be his best one that I've heard. There's a couple that I need to like listen to still. We have like Hunky Dory and Diamond Dogs, and there's just so many Bowie albums that are in like this golden period that he had. But I don't know. I'm really digging this one. I had no idea that David Bowie could do this. I know that there is a giant hype around him, but I didn't really see it until Black Star. I got a little bit of that on Ziggy Stardust, but I wasn't too huge into it. Yeah. But Low here is like really showing like how far ahead he was at that time. And for someone that big to make something that's crazy is strange too. Like he's huge.
He is. He's one of the biggest artists, I would say.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, this album was an experience. I need to listen to it more. I think I only listened to this one once at work, so I didn't get the good headphone treatment on it yet. But that'll be for this week probably. But yeah, that was a lot of stuff. That is everything I have. We got Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion coming out tomorrow on the channel, so check that out if you're interested. I've been jamming a couple of records on that album. My playlist is so messed up. I just have like half of Soundtracks for the Blind and then like Emotion after it.
Great.
It's such a sucker punch. Run Away With Me shouldn't be such a good song. That's all I'm saying. I can't not put it on a playlist.
Of course.
But yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure I touched on the Black Thought record last time on the podcast.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So yeah, that's all I got. Stick around for more stuff.
I want to talk about what I'm listening to.
Yeah, go talk about what you're listening to.
Yeah, before you close out this segment, I listened to something that I think is really awesome, and I think everyone should check it out because nobody's ever heard it before. I've been jamming to Clairo's first record.
What?
Immunity. Sling is on my wheel. It has been on my wheel for a very, very long time. I think it's on
Bab Jab's wheel too.
Yes. At this point, we should have listened to it already. I got impatient, so I listened to Immunity, and I love it. I think it's great. I love her voice and how she's able. She has this very specific. Soft. Yeah, she's very soft about it. Which I was listening to it as I was like walking around, and then like I finally sat down and read the lyrics, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I did not realize that's what you were talking about at all.
Yep. That's Clairo.
That's Clairo. Yeah, it's just gotten me very excited for Sling.
Yeah,
when we finally
it's probably good
there.
That you listen to it. You give more of a context to what this record's going to be.
Yes,
Sling is one of the it's a winter album, but it's the 4M Forever Ago of a winter album. It's like you play it inside by a fire.
Oh, okay.
And it is so cozy. So I'm excited for that because I haven't dug into the lyrics too much of Sling, so I think that'd be good for a reaction. And I haven't heard it in a while. So, I don't know. We're going to try to get Bab Jab on. Hopefully we can pull him for recording this week.
Who knows? I
Hopefully.
should send him an email and see if he would be down
we're gonna
for
try.
that.
We need some Zoomer music in our lives. We've been kind of boomers. Besides for emotion here, we've been kind of boomering it up. So
Yeah, we're that's not true. We've not been listening to boomer stuff.
no, we have SZA.
We have SZA. Carly Rae
think-
Jepsen is not boomer music.
No. It's millennial music.
It's
but-
millennial music for
No,
sure.
and a lot of my music has been like, for the first time in my life, I'm going backwards decades and listening to a lot of older stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's weird. It's usually reversed, where the things that I've been doing are pretty recent, like Father John Misty, SZA, Nostalgia Critics, The Wall. And the stuff that you've been doing is the Cocteau Twins or
well, I was so focused on hip hop for like 5 or 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, there's obviously still things I need to listen to, but I've explored a majority of that genre in the pockets that I like from that genre. So now that I'm into post-rock and experimental rock and now into dream pop and shoegaze, it opens up a gigantic door
That's
of
true.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we got these next months, I would say, of Boy Time stuff is going to be really interesting. We've got
is.
some good stuff on the wheel. I'm really excited for. I know you've got some stuff that you've been waiting to listen to also, so that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm like kicking myself for putting a certain albums on the wheel because I can't not, like, I need to listen to it.
I know. There's like almost everything on my good wheel is something that I like really, really want to
Yeah.
listen to, but can't because I'm contractually
I
obligated.
can't cave into listening to Loveless, but I'm getting so close. I need a semi-yikes next time. It needs to happen.
Well, that's the thing.
I can't avoid this record. Every single facet of rock I'm going down leads to Loveless.
Well, hopefully we can swing something. You've been getting consistently goods, if I
Yeah,
remember.
and you've
right.
been getting all over the board.
I've been getting meh and semi-yikes. I've not gotten a good since our fan marathon.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a good so I can finally
I
listen
think
to
Butterfly
Sling.
3000 was the last.
That was the
was
last
that a
one.
viewer
That
reaction?
was one that I picked off of the viewer
okay,
wheel.
okay.
So I've not gotten
yeah.
something that I got yikes, meh, and now we're doing a semi yikes, which will be revealed on Monday. But yeah,
Exciting. I put
Exciting
some other
stuff.
stuff on the wheel too. I got Plastic Beach on my good wheel now.
oh okay, that'll
I
be
forgot
fun.
about Plastic Beach.
Yeah, we do have another Gorillaz album on the.
Yeah, I have
fan
Demon
wheel.
Days on there too. So we have like the two best Gorillaz albums waiting too. So
Yeah. I do love Cracker
yeah,
Island.
Cracker Island is great.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, that's all we got
That's it.
in this 46-minute episode. So,
It's not. It's been 2 hours and
well, my
12
recording's
minutes.
46.
Oh,
so
okay.
Our music section was 46 alone.
Okay. This is a long podcast,
Yeah.
which I knew it was going to be. We skipped watching regular show tonight so we could just do full podcast, which is good because it's late.
Yes.
So, yeah. I forgot. It's been so long since we did a podcast. I forgot how we close these.
I have no idea.
That's not helpful or constructive.
True. But I didn't have an idea.
Oh, frick. Well, I guess I can look around. Is there like a hotkey for how to stop recording?
Mine's Alt F4 usually.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let me try that.